Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with the next part of Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. All right, so we're going to push on here. Make sure you watch the first video for all that good happy crap. We're going to see if our APC can race through these tunnels and actually make the escape. Before we do start, I wanted to show you a few of the models that I didn't show you on the previous video. I showed those two. But just as an FYI, they do have some cool stuff. Like, is this Burke? Yeah. So Burke is in the game. He actually has some interesting abilities and can carry a weapon, but we really just want him to die. And then Enraged Ripley carrying Newt and her souped up gun. Really cool stuff. And Bishop is in there, but as also you got Torn in Half Bishop. Is a part of the game. Obviously, he's going to be in the mission with the Sulaco, but all of these are like expansion characters. So, and it's part of the reason this mission is not really one of the actual missions. It's one of the like bug hunt type missions, and I really think this one, the APC Escape, should have been in there. But it's not in there because these components are part of the expansion, and this mission is happening between, I think, mission 2 and 3 in the game. So since the base game came with missions 1, 2, and 3, and it didn't have these components, this mission couldn't be an official mission, which I think is just kind of messed up. But whatever. All right, so let's throw these tokens back in there. Forgot to move those over. I had thrown these into a bowl so we can just randomly draw. Move those alien tokens out of the way. All right, so we're going to activate. Going to go with Apone first, and I've got a plan here, all right? So we've got 2 gunners, front and back. Front covers front half, back covers back half. Then we got door gunner, and the door gunner can only hit basically this side of the APC. So this whole line here, they can lean out and fire up and down. But if they fire, it means the door's open. And there's one thing that I'm going to change on that. So during the alien turn, if you fired, means the door's open, but these characters do have the ability to barricade. So I'm going to go with, if the door gunner fires, they can use an action to barricade, which is essentially blocking or shutting the door, but it requires a tech action to do a barricade. So that's a risk. So we're going to meet that one in the middle. And that's the only change that I'm going with, because I think that's more thematic and it works. And I think, honestly, they should have just had that in the game to begin with. All right, so with Apone activating, he's in the gunner position, front gunner turret. So obviously he's going to be shooting at these aliens here. And my goal is to have him activate, and then Hudson, who's here driving, and again, I have him driving because he has the highest tech ability, which is the best chance for us to get farther, because if you successfully pass your tech, then you get to move 5 spaces rather than 3. We're going to have to squish one of these guys, which gives them a chance to damage the Humvee. And the more damaged the Humvee is, the less the guns work and the slower it goes. So I've got a couple of people in repair spots over here so they can try to keep repairing the Humvee as the gunners are putting rounds downrange and the driver's trying to, slam it up the tunnel. If my plan works, it'll be an easy mission. If it doesn't work, then the Humvee will get torn apart and the aliens will get in and eat all my characters. We'll have to see how it pans out. All right, so with him firing, now the problem with this, right, with the turret, is that it doesn't have an aim dial, right? So there's nothing that you're reducing. It has a natural 7. So 7 and under it hits, with the exception of any damage token. So if it's damaged, you reduce that number by 1 for each damage token. Right now we're full power, so 7, real good number. But it costs you 3 cards. You can't reduce that at all. So 3 cards each time you're firing one of these. That's a real quick way to burn out that deck. So, but we do have to start with our on activation. There's a little card here that tells you what to do. Reset your aim dial. We don't have to do that since they're all reset, but that means put it back to its starting number and then resolve all on activation abilities. He does have one. The draw an endurance card, and then each Marine character may recycle a card from their hand. So that means they can take, if they have a card in their hand, they can put it on the bottom of this deck. He will draw a card, and it is an event. Keep moving, baby. Each character may move up to 2 spaces. Marine characters that move may draw an endurance card. So we can hold on to this. This is an event. That could actually come in handy if we get real close to the end or we're getting swarmed by aliens, allow everyone to move a couple of spaces. So only our hero characters can have a card of hand of cards anyway, so we'll throw that over there. Now he's going to activate, and we're going to shoot twice with him. We're going to burn a lot of cards, but I am going to try to use his passive. Was it his passive? No. It wasn't his passive. Oh, no, I'm going to try to use rest actions. That's what it is. You can take a rest action to essentially recycle some cards, kind of keep your supplies up. If I don't have to do repairs with these guys, I'm going to try to do rest actions instead to keep my endurance deck up. All right, so let's grab our dice here. There are special little D10s that come with it. The stars are 1s, which are criticals, which does affect some of the things. If you're doing a repair action, as an example, and you get a critical, it repairs 2 instead of 1. So good stuff. The turret weapon, you do get to roll 2 dice and pick the lowest. So let's exhaust 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. So that's what you're doing when you're firing your weapons, and you're going to do this with everything, right? That's how this deck's going to get burned out very quickly. So you want to try to recycle these cards when you can, so you don't burn through your ammo, essentially. All right, we need one of these to be a 7 or under, and we got a 2. That'll work. Perfect. And yeah, we're going to do that same action with him twice. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and roll again while we're over here. See if we can get a couple of aliens. And yes, perfect. Boom. And it's just one of them. If you score 2, it doesn't mean you get to kill more. So we did take out 2 of the aliens. Which ones do we want to take out? I guess it really doesn't matter. We'll kill off these back 2 over here and catch the tail on the 3rd. Throw him there. All right, so I think we're going to go with Hudson as the first grunt. Hudson's here, actually. And then Frost as the second grunt, because there's a chance that Hudson will cause damage to the Humvee, or the APC rather, by running over the alien. So if he damages it, Frost can try to repair it. And if he doesn't damage it, then Frost can try to recycle some of those cards. Okay, so we've got to attempt a tech test for Hudson. His tech is a 6, as you can see. So we're going to have to roll this to see if he gets a 6 or under to pass. If he doesn't, then he only gets 3 movement instead of 5. Big money. Yes. Okay, he passes. So 5 movements. So we get to move 5 squares here. Now, our first move is going to be through the alien, so obviously we're going to squish him, but he does get to resolve an attack against the Humvee, or the APC. I'm going to keep calling it Humvee for my own time in the Corps, so we will have to deal with that in a sec. And you can move diagonally, right? So you can move, kind of shimmy along as you go, but you can't go sideways, so you can't go like straight down or straight up. Let's see, for our first one... Well, this is only 3 wide, so we're going to have to go that way. But I would like to give us a little bit of space if we can. If we go 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, and then 5. We'll dip up like that, so a little farther away from them, just in case they start coming out. That's good stuff. Perfect. All right. And now I get to do his second action, because that was only 1 action, but I do need to resolve that attack. Now, the APC has a defense rating of 5 and a melee rating of 2. So the melee rating isn't going to really matter because they're going to run over them anyway, but it does matter when they're actually conducting their attack. You'll notice each person has speed, defense, and melee. Speed is obviously how many spaces you can move. Real easy. Defense and melee, all right, you can do defensive fire. Defensive fire means if an alien moves up against, adjacent to a character, all characters within 4 spaces of that character can do a shot against them. And this is on the alien's turn. You have to spend your cards and everything. And it doesn't say anything specifically in the rule book about the APC not being able to do defensive fire. So I'm assuming that it can, but it will burn through cards even more quickly. So that's kind of like, but the way defense also works normally, right? Just against characters, which the APC does count as a character, is when the alien attacks, you're not rolling to see if the alien hits a number. You're rolling to see if your defensive number, if you pass your defensive roll, right? So if you equal that number or under, remember here it's always under, then that means the alien misses. So if the alien does an attack against our APC, we want to get a 5 or under. The melee number comes into play when you're making this defensive roll. If you roll and it's equal to or under your melee number, not only does the alien miss, but you've killed them in melee combat. So if an alien were up against this thing, making an attack, and the defensive roll was a 1 or a 2, then not only would it not damage the APC, but it would kill the alien conducting the attack. So we do have to resolve that attack. Let's roll 1. And we got 8, so we took a damage. So this is not good. We're going to have to repair that. Throw that there, so remember it's dinged. And now we get to roll for his second action, so we're going to try to drive. Again, we're just going to try to race through as quickly as we can. And he passes. Perfect. All right. Yes, he does pass. Now, since we do have a damage, we're going 1 slower, so we're only moving 4 instead of 5 on this one, and that is definitely unfortunate. But here's the thing. We're not going to have to worry about any of these attacks down here because we're going to be able to get off this board. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. We have just passed this board by 1. We are just good enough, which means all these aliens, the swarms, they all fall away. This floats back, and then the next one pops up. So give me a sec, let me switch these out. Okay, and unfortunately, since there is this little blocking bit of terrain right here, these little walls, and it's not on this board, I actually can't just switch the tokens very quickly to signify the fact that we've moved up. Instead, I have to actually pick it up and move it around. But now we go to our turn dial because we're not on turn or that space anymore. We're on space 2. That's how you're going to keep track of this mission. It's not really turns, it's how far you're going to get. So if we keep going like that, we'll be all right. We'll be able to slam through this mission very quickly. It's only how much damage do they do to us and do they slow us down. All right, so Apon's gone. Hudson has gone. No special abilities needed. And the last one is going to be Frost. And we're going to have Frost start with a tech action, see if we can repair that. His tech is a 5. Everyone's is a 5 with the exception of Vasquez, who only has a 4. So let's see here. Come on. Come on. Let's get it up. No, that's a miss. That's a horrible miss. All right, we're going to go with another tech action to see if we can try to get rid of that token. We got to keep the damage off. And no. Okay, that sucks. But thankfully, I do have my other guys to activate before we get into the alien phase. Now, I don't want to move them off of these positions. All right, so right now, the only one I have that can do anything, because the next one has to activate is Hicks, and then his grunts, which is going to be Vasquez and Ripley. So I could move Hicks into a repair spot to give myself essentially 4 rolls at trying to repair that. But if I do that, I'm not going to have a door gunner for the next round. But then I think I'll be all right because I can move him back later. But that's going to, no, that'll only be 3 chances because I'm going to have to move him on the next one. Yeah, screw it. We'll take the chance. All right, so we're going to move Hicks to here and have him do his next action as a repair action. Come on, Hicks. Repair it. Yes, he actually did repair it. Perfect. So this comes off. Throw it over here out of the way. And now his 2 grunts get to go, but they don't have anything that they can do, unfortunately, since we have repaired. But we can clear out some cards. Actually, we can do rest actions with each one of these guys and get those. Now, when you're doing a rest action, Normally, when it's a hero character, they get to draw from the exhaustion deck to see if they get extra equipment like grenades and stuff like that, extra armor that they can equip. When it's your grunts, all they can do is recycle cards. And recycling cards is pulling them here from the exhaust deck and putting them underneath the endurance deck. Keeps you going longer. Basically, you're recycling your supplies. Each time you do a rest action, you get to recycle 3 cards. I've got 2 grunts, so that's 6 cards each. So that's going to completely flesh out that exhaust deck. I'm good with that. So we haven't taken any damage, and we have kept our deck up. And there it goes underneath that cardboard token that you see there that tells you when to shuffle that deck again. So you don't place it like just underneath it. You're going to keep that cardboard token there all the way up until you burn through this and then shuffle everything. Oh, before I forget to mention it, I did remove the knife from Mrs. Vasquez over here because using the smart gun, she does not get the ability to have a backup weapon. So we are going to our next phase. Wait, I did forget the on activation for Hicks. And passive, once per turn, exhaust a card from your hand to re-rolled Hicks failed attack. That is really good, but I don't have to worry about that just yet. But we will draw an endurance card for him before I forget, because there are hazards. Pistol, it's all right. Not a bad little backup weapon. It is good because it always hits on a roll of 3 or less, no matter where your aim deck is. But he has his specific shotgun, which is always going to hit on a roll of 5 or less, which is better than this pistol. So we'll hold on to this just in case we need to exhaust it for a failed attack. All right, so we're good. We have resolved his abilities, used rank to activate grunts, passed the activation token, which we're not going to worry about that because they're just going to go back and forth. And now we go to the alien phase. First thing is going to be activate aliens, activate blips, and then draw motion cards. So for us, the good thing is we killed all the aliens or drove away from them. By falling that next board off, they're essentially gone. So we don't have to worry about them. You don't move them up onto the current board or anything like that. You just keep going. So racing away from them in this mission is an excellent idea. So we're going to draw our motion cards, and then the finish phase is just resolve any finish phase effects that are listed down on any of your cards or characters. Check for victory or defeat. For this, it's just going to be whether or not they've killed us or whether or not we've escaped off the board, and then clean up. So normal stuff for the game. We're just going to have to worry about drawing motion cards. And like I said, we're going to have 2 motion cards for each one of these guys. That again is a way I think you can kind of adjust the difficulty for yourself, especially when you're playing solitaire. If you want better characters, you can have them, but you're going to have to draw a motion card for each character. So if I had 6 hero characters, they could have their own hand of cards and all that good stuff, but I'd be drawing 6 motion tracking cards each round. That's a lot. So, and if you find the game too hard, just, playing by yourself, there's no reason that you couldn't cut that back and instead only draw 3 cards or 1 card each, something like that. It's your game. Have fun with it. Play it the way you want. Obviously always start with the rules the way that they're written. But if you find it too hard or too easy, you can make little adjustments like that to adjust the game for yourself. All right, so we come over here to our motion tracking. We're going to draw 2 for Mr. Apone and 2 for Mr. Hicks. All right, not a bad draw, but we've got some bad stuff coming. You can tell by looking at these motion tracker cards how difficult they are. Level 1s only have a couple old blips showing. Level 2s have more. And then the level 3s have a just mess load of blips on them. So let's see, our first card for Apone. Alien Vanguard. Reveal a card, place another blip. Place another blip. Oh, that's so bad. All right, so we have 1 blip at 3. We'll take this, and we're going to put that here. So you notice they changed. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then by switching things around, it's going to keep changing around where the spawn points are. And we've got to reveal a card. Hopefully we do not have a weapon or a hazard. We have an event. So which event is this? Building Better Worlds. Draw 4 endurance cards, then exhaust 2 cards from your hand. All right, well, we don't have to worry about that. We will place that on the bottom of the deck here in just a sec. Let's see. Yep, reveal a card. We're done there. We're going to place another blip. Oop, I accidentally flipped one, but it's all right. And this one's going to be another revealing another card. And it's another event. So perfect. All right, so we've got 2 blips out. Obviously, they go right on the spawn point. If you have multiple blips, they go as close to the spawn point as you can get them. All right, another level 1 card. And remember, when we started this mission, we had 5 level 1s and 5 level 2s to start it. So we've already had 3 of our level 1s and 1 of our level 2s. So we know we've got 2 of these left and 4 of those left on the top. Then after that, it's completely random. And there will be level 3s. Ooh, recycle a card. I got no card to recycle. Perfect. False alarm. Could have used that later on. And next is just 1 drone. Let me grab this. He's going on 3, which is also over here. And I'm going to place him there because this one is actually going to get flipped because he is in line of sight of the APC. So we will be revealing him before we finish up. So, all right. And what else does this say? Players must either discard 1 barricade in play or place a second blip at spawn point 1. If there are no barricades in play, then players must place an extra blip. Oh, you suck. At spawn point 1. So let's grab a blip from over here. Damn. All right. I mean, it's not horrible. We've got 4 blips that have appeared. These things, unlike aliens just have a set movement, right? They go 6, right? But the blips, you roll for to see how far they go. And as soon as they are in line of sight, you do flip them over to see what they are. Let's flip this blip. We have a 1. All right, so that's not bad. Throw this over the way, and we'll place a single alien right here. And the key thing about aliens when they're in their swarms, when they're not being fired at by stuff like big auto cannons or run over by APCs, which kill whole stacks, when you're firing them just regular weapons, you have to kill each individual alien, right? So if you've got a stack of 3 or 4 there, they're going to get plinked off one at a time. Not to mention they add to their attacks when they do rolls. So they add +1s when they're even attacking the APC. So you want to whittle down those little stacks if you can. And I was just thinking about it. I'm actually going to make these guys faster because let's say, you know, when I activate on my next one, the blips aren't that fast. So I'm like not worried about this one. I'm pretty sure I can get off this board before he activates. But it all depends on how far I can get on this because, yeah, if I fail a tech roll on my next activation, I'm not going to have enough oomph to get onto this board, which means these will be able to activate and come up on my 6. The blip might not be able to reach me, but the alien definitely would be able to get up and try to attack on the 6. So you really want to try to get past. Let's see. Yeah, because 6 movement points only puts me to there. And this thing is how long? 7? Yeah, 7 squares long. So I need to have at least 1 successful tech roll when driving to ensure I get past onto the next board. And that's not even counting the fact that it could have damage that's going to slow it down, because 2 damage points on this thing brings it down to almost a crawl. Just 2 damage points. Because you got to remember, if you fail it, you're only going 3. You have 2 damage points, that's just 1. You have 3 damage points, you're not moving at all. You'd have to have a successful tech roll with 3 damage points just to get 2 spaces ahead. So you really got to try to keep this thing repaired. I'm almost thinking I'm going to keep Hicks here on an extra repair slot just to give me bonuses with that and just let the gunners try to do the work, right? Instead of being in the door. Although, like I said, remember in this mission, the aliens can try to break through the door and get inside the APC, but then I'd have a chance to shoot them when they move there. I might have to run this one a couple times off camera just to see which is better, having a door gunner or having him back and waiting for the aliens to come up on him. All right, but yeah, we're going to stop here. The next video, a little less explaining going on. We'll play through it a little bit faster, see if we can get through a couple of turns, since it does take a sec with all the Marines and everything they have going on. All right, that's going to be it for this one. You guys stay tuned. I will see you in the next one.